Hey yo, what's good, Pulse family? Of course, you guys already know who it is. It is your boy Thesis. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing my experiences with the MPC Live 3, and I'm going to give you guys a comparison now since I've had much experience with the Maschine MK3 or the Maschine Plus. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of how I feel about the pros and cons and which ones you guys probably want to choose. You guys keep it locked. Stay tuned. Periodically, you're gonna see me, I don't want to miss nothing in my comparison, so I did some notes. Periodically, might see me, read down because I wanted to be specific in comparison to let you guys get the full experience from somebody that was a beginner in both areas. And because I want to come from that aspect of beginners, then this was one of the reasons why I went ahead and put together the pros and cons. My first pro, right, for the MPC Live 3 is very powerful. It's good as a standalone workstation. You do have up to 32 plugin instances with 16 audio tracks and up to 256 stereo voice. From the people that I've talked to, they said that that's a huge step for that, right? The other thing is that it's a modern expressive pad and the new performance tools that they have with it. On the actual pad itself, it has these 4 corners, which are really dope. You can go and add them in different layers. And if you wanted to, say for instance, if you want to do drums and you want to have different time signatures on the actual drum of that pad, you have 4 corners of an area now to do that, which, to be fairly honest, is really dope. This one can be considered a full standalone DAW free, right? So it has that potential that everybody wants when it comes to hardware for it to be totally DAW free, and this does give that actual feel. It includes advanced features like a pro grade stem separation with time stretching, clip launching. Of course, that's for the Ableton style of the producer, and they made it real realistic to have close to, I'll say, a finished full production without an actual computer. And as I was playing with the MPC Live 3, it did give me that. I'm going to go into some more details as to my experience with it, but as far as an actual dawless machine, this one kind of hits the mark for that actual one. And of course, another pro is the fact of the portability and how flexible it is to be fully portable. This one does it, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Is that the simple fact that you don't need even a speaker, because it comes with its own speaker system inside built in. So literally all you do is take the machine up and go. Now as far as the the Maschine Plus, it doesn't have speakers, so that right there is already a plus and pro comparison. But like I said, I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, the pros for the Maschine Plus, the workflow is crazy. It has a really tight, intuitive workflow for beat making and sampling. It has the classic Maschine workflow, of course, with the actual pads, the knobs, all the essential buttons. They are a little bit easier in my sense as far as workflow is concerned, because it caters towards the actual software. And of course, for the MPC Live 3, it's still in beta mode, so I don't want to give a full comparison with that. But as far as the DAW approach of the Groovebox, Maschine kind of has that on lock because it's just so easy and just really fun to play with. It has a lot of built-in sounds and plugin libraries within NI's ecosystem. When you come to using the actual Maschine as opposed to the MPC, the sounds are just so much better. You get so much creativity as far as how you feel once you touch the actual machine, that it brings out that spark to want to play with the sounds and all that, as opposed to the MPC Live 3, where it only gives you a base of of those type of sounds that you would get. But even with Native Instruments bringing in some of their VSTs to give you that feel, that's kind of like half and half for me, because the ecosystem is different on the Maschine as opposed to the MPC. It has a better feel creativity wise on the Maschine for using NI stuff, as it should be. It is compact, it's studio friendly. So being studio friendly meaning, you can plug it in USB, go straight and push it to the actual software, and it works flawlessly with the software. I know there's gonna be a lot of comments about that because of sometimes they have instability in their actual program, but they'll try to write that off as user error or things of that nature. And of course, as far as it being a standalone, you can make beats without the actual computer, but it does not have the MPC Live feel As far as, again, not having the speakers where you can play it without earphones, it's time to revamp. And, you know, the MPC Akai family has just been pumping them out. So shouts out to them for doing that. But, you know, Maschine, I think it's time. I think it's really time to at least integrate that idea of the speaker system on the actual machine. I think that would be really, really dope. All right, so here are some trade-offs, right? So these are some ideas I came up with for the comparison of the MPC Live 3 and the Maschine Plus. There's a complex learning curve to the MPC as opposed to going straight in as a beginner, right? As a beginner inside of the actual Maschine series. Like if you jump straight in the flagship, having all the sounds there, being able to, you know, play with the actual machine as far as not knowing anything, it has an easier learning curve as opposed to the MPC Live 3. Now, I will say that I didn't have a real problem, right? Even though I looked at some YouTube videos and then I checked out a couple of them and it showed me some things. Like some people like to look at the videos while they're actually trying to, you know, use the machine. And for the machine, I didn't have to look at a video. That's just me, honestly. I didn't have to look at a video to try to learn, you know, any type of learning curves or whatever to the MPC3. There's a definite complexity that if you don't know anything about the MPC, you're gonna need a couple of tutorials and some practices. For the price wise, if you are just a regular producer and you're not in the sense of, you know, even advanced on knowing how to produce, right? And even though this is dawless, the price is too high for the basic, you know, producer, the basic beat making casual producer. Like it's just way too much. The machine is up there as well, right? One thing I will say is that you get more bang for your buck because of the sounds as opposed to the actual, you know, sounds that you might get from the MPC. And then being able, like I said before, prior to this, you got to have a learning curve to learn what you get. And of course, you have to do that with every piece of hardware. But I'm just coming from the sense of it's going to take you a lot longer if you don't know anything like I did about the MPC. The workflow may feel less instant, and that's why I was saying, you know, as far as the MPC3 to the machine, you know, it's not instant as far as instant creation. You have to learn a couple of things on the MPC Live that you might not have to on the Maschine Plus, and that's just honest opinion. And that may be per person, that may be per producer. All in all, I just jumped right into the machine as opposed to the MPC. Now, the cons and trade-offs for the Maschine Plus. It's not totally and truly a standalone. It has no battery or a built-in speaker. So the standalone wins with the MPC3. It has the term standalone, unlike the Maschine Plus. So if you want full mobile production, you're still gonna have to bring, you know, side speakers or even your earphones to, you know, get the sound out of the Maschine Plus. There's standalone limitations versus the DAW because it is a groove box. That's also one of my things where I feel like if you're looking at, you know, it being powerful, it is in that, but it shows that the final mixing still needs to be bought through a DAW. Just like, you know, the MPC Live 3 still has to be imported the sounds out into a DAW. So it doesn't give you a full DAW in that sense. It has less in and out capabilities, expandability for the Maschine Plus. Again, as far as my personal final thought on it, you know, I feel like the Maschine Plus is still just the machine and native instrument ecosystem is still easier for me, right? And again, I'm trying to come from a beginner's person and not from a favorites idea, right? So when I first got it, I was just more, you know, expressive and creative on the actual machine software as opposed to the MPC. I do have fun with the MPC, but I find myself still not being able to get the creativity and the actual sound and my actual feel that I do in Native Instruments machine. So even though I gave the stats, I'm still a machine user to the day. So we'll see how many MPC beats come out of me. There definitely will be a difference. I do feel that and I do know that. So we'll just see, right? But hopefully if you guys were, you know, definitely interested in this, please let me know what you guys think. If you guys have not subscribed to the page, please subscribe to the page. Like this video. Let's get the conversation going. I'm really interested in seeing what people will say in the production community about the MPC Live 3 versus the Maschine Plus. But once again, another one's done, another one in the books. You guys already know who it is. It is your boy Thesis. Peace.